You're still on to ITV, and of course this morning's segment TMI. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Yeah, we talked about it before all the segments commenced. Yeah, talking about the burden of leadership and of course the way forward. We have other set of guests here with us in the studio to really throw more light on this wonderful topic. And of course I have Barrister Friday Ogierhiakhi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
A member Edo State House of Assembly. And of course I have Princess Imolo Imimosi, right? Got it. Imomosi Imolo. Don't mind. I'll get that name one of these days correctly. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
And of course I have Mr. Leo Ebagwa. Welcome to the show, sir.
Nice to see you.
All right, sir. Let's talk about the burden of leadership. Thank God that you are a leader, at least you're a member of the House of Assembly in Edo State. What do you think are the burdens of leadership in Nigeria that some aspects are enjoying while other aspects are crying right about now? Edo State seems to be grounded. What's your own take on that, sir?
Well, the leadership, first and foremost, must be seen for what it is. And that is to say that there must be a proper understanding of the fact that leadership is critical to the failure, success, triumph, or otherwise of any given venture. And most particularly, when we want to talk about leadership, we tend to have in mind political leadership in any given society, because that appears to be the highest point of leadership arrangement that you can actually want to consider when you are looking at whether or not a nation would actually achieve all the vision it has set out for itself, and to be one that can hold its place in the community of nations.
Right.
So that first, you must also appreciate the fact that leadership is not an all-comers affair. When you make leadership an all-comers affair, that is where, of course, you begin to have problems. And in Nigeria, we have had our own fair share. We are still having our own fair share of leadership failure and leadership problem, because we have not been able to get things right. You know, so that I think it's owing to the fact that leadership is very critical and very important, that over time, humanity has devised several ways towards actually putting in place leadership. We have had arrangement that had to do with divine, whereby people will say, oh, God has said that 30% be anointed as leaders. There have been people who have gone into divination to be able to decide on who would actually be properly fit to lead that particular given society. You know, I think that is still happen within the traditional setting, where people have to go for divination to find out who and who is better placed or suited to carry to take charge of leadership. But in modern times, and as a result of our whole evolution as a society, I think what we are settled for today is that leadership must be by democratic practices. You know, and if we have adopted that mode, we must be seen actually applied it to the the finest point, because we cannot afford to adopt a half-measure approach to democratic practice. So, and I think it is because we have not actually imbibed and actually put in practice what democracy entails that still seems to be the problem, why we have not gotten the right people to be in the right place to give us that leadership that will take Nigeria, of course, to the very next level of our expectation.
All right, thank you very, very much, sir. If you're an added viewer of ITV, one guest came around to just apologize to leaders that he's been castigating, saying that they're not doing well. When he got to that position, he was saying that, I am sorry, oh, I never knew that is how the position is. A leader saying that. I want to come to you, sir, before I get to the only lady here in the studio with us. What's your reaction to his own foundation of leadership?
Well, so actually, from what he said, leaders are born and not made.
The leaders are born and not made?
Yes, leaders are born.
All right.
And it's quite unfortunate that the kind of leadership that we have in our country are economic leadership. These are the people who are interested in amassing wealth for themselves. Otherwise, we shouldn't have been where we are if we have allowed the process of selecting leaders to take place. Like he says, in the traditional institutions, you go to the vanity to check who is supposed to lead the group of people. Because, you see, leaders are people that are focused. Leaders are people that have visions. Leaders are people that they believe in what they believe in, they stand for it. Leaders are people that are ready to take whatever comes their way. Come imprisonment, come success, they are ready. Comes failure, they are also ready. The life of Nelson Mandela is an example to exemplify leadership for you. Nelson, on his life, was ready to be in prison for a number of 27 years.
Yes.
And I will also tell you that during that process of his struggle, do you think he was not bribed? Do you think money were not given to him to forget his cause so that he can abandon his people halfway? Of course, a lot of offers must have been given to him. But he had a mindset that is leading his people to, an expected end. So leaders are people that are focused.
Okay.
But the process of selection of leaders here in our country must be done correctly. Otherwise, our country will continue to be in this shaking foundation.
All right, thank you very, very much for that wonderful summary. All right, I wanted you to say something, but we have to take a break for the news update. Later we'll come back again to you. Let's get to hear your own views and, of course, opinion about the building of leadership in Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the news update for 9:30. Leadership, and I wanted to come to you before we have to take a break for the news update for 9:30. From what both of them have said, what is your own contribution to this great topic?
Thank you very much, Wilson. Good morning, viewers. Like my co-discussant here said, leaders are born and not made. And it is clear from listening to both of them that, and also it's also my opinion, that in Nigeria what we are trying to do is we are trying to make leaders. It is never possible to put a square peg into a round hole. And again, if we're looking at it politically, the truth is you can fool all of the people for some of the time, or some of the people for some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And there will come a point at which the people of this nation will rebel. I'm not saying the nation will enter into rebellion. I am talking about political rebellion. I am talking about the people coming into their own, into the realization that one way or the other they may have been misled, they may have been cheated, because people who I would refer to as self-appointed leaders, who we may understand to have put in a system of personalized leadership, basing everything on themselves, their characters, their name, their personality. That I think there comes a point when the people will understand that this is not how leadership is meant to go. Because when you have a natural born leader, you will find in an ideal situation, people tend to gravitate towards that person, or people tend to gravitate towards that individual or that organization or that political party, if it is a person or a party that has that natural leadership, that capacity to identify the needs of the people and key into it. I believe very much in selfless service. And I think it is time that our leaders should not look so much at themselves. They should look at our past history, the past political history of Nigeria, because we have leaders. For example, our past, what do we call them? Sadana of Sokoto, Amadou Bello,
Azikiwe,
M.I. Okpara, just to name a few. We have leaders who are men of knowledge, integrity, political sagacity, who knew about putting aside their own personal grievances, putting aside their own personal economic desires in order for the needs of the nation to be identified and to key into what Nigeria really needs. For now, I feel that we are almost at the point when we are derailing.
All right.
And I believe that the beginning of the beginning should start from the home.
From the home.
And
Okay.
it is now the role and the assignment of the women of Nigeria.
She's going to come to
Yes,
that. I
the
know,
women of
definitely.
Nigeria
Okay, you
to
just
come
hold
up
it.
and
Okay,
show
you
our
just hold it. I
natural
know you're going to
state
say
of
that.
leadership.
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
bring up children
Okay.
that are going to take Nigeria forward to the next level.
Thank you very, very much, man. Now, sir, it is called that before a leader obtains office or gets into position, he or she makes so many promises. All of a sudden, when that gets to that position, things start changing. Is it because of the pressure or the intent of the leader?
Well, first, let me very much commend the point earlier made that leaders are born and not made. I think it's
But that is contestable.
It is not contestable. It is incontrovertible.
Thank you.
Because drawing from your question,
Yes.
a leader who is a leader has no excuse to make. You cannot say because you are under pressure from one quarter or the other that perhaps is responsible for why you have not performed or why you have to breach your promises to the people. That is why a leader that is actually born to lead would always at all times be ready to act in the best interest of the people. And that leader must be a leader with a sense of integrity. A leader with a sense of integrity would at all times remember that before ever he got into that position of leadership, he had an accord with the people. And that accord will always be the guiding principle upon which he will act. Somebody made the point here very well. I think that my brother, Mr. Bagwa, that you cannot, because of the fact that you are under one pressure or the other, because of course your personal interest is at stake, fail to deliver what you have promised the people. You must be ready at all times to make that sacrifice that is most necessary to deliver the happiness to the greatest number of people in that given society. He made a very beautiful, suitable reference to our very respected Nelson Mandela,
Yes.
the freedom fighter, the liberator of all time, who while he was in prison in Robben Island, the apartheid regime made an offer to him. Nelson Mandela, we are going to release you. When we release you, you must ensure that you abandon all this struggle you are talking about. Face your legal practice. Right then, he sent a message through his daughter, one of his daughters, to the people, that he, Nelson Mandela, was no more less loving than the average South African. But that he is not ready to sell the better of the people in order to be free.
Selling the birthright of the people in order to be free.
And in our own local circumstances here, perhaps you may have heard it said that if you do not have love for the people, don't ever aspire to leadership. The love of the people must be absolute in the mind of the leader, so that all the things you have to do, the decisions that you have to take, must be because of the fact that you have love for humanity. You are not about going to take certain decisions that will inflict pains on the people. You must be that leader that will be ready to ensure that all of the resources available are used maximally to benefit the people of the society. And not one that would, knowing fully that you require resources, perhaps to provide healthcare facility for the people. Instead, you want to go and build your own elsewhere where you can make personal profit. That is not a good example of a leader. A good example of a leader must be one that knows that charity, of course, must begin from home. He must be the one that knows that even as you are as a leader, there are certain privileges you have to sacrifice. When you know that the larger majority of your people are not able to access that particular services. Because what we find today, and I've heard it said often and often, why do Nigerians still have to seek medical attention outside of this issue, especially people in governance? It is most morally reprehensible.
Reprehensible. All right.
Because you have all it takes, the facility are put at your disposal to provide that same healthcare here
in Nigeria,
so that your people can access it.
Okay.
Why will you not single yourself and people that have put you there? It is either you are not ready to provide that leadership by example, by making sacrifice, by putting yourself at the level of the lowest of your people.
Okay. All right. All right.
So that is the burden that leadership entails. Until when we are ready to actually carry that burden, and we should also be ready to look out for that person who is ready to carry that burden before we send people to take leadership positions.
Yeah, do not sacrifice your people because of your own interests. Very, very strong point. Burden of a leader. Now take a look at our country, Nigeria. Do we really have that kind of leader like the likes of Nelson Mandela and of course some of the great names that she mentioned? Are they still here with us? If they are here, what is the problem?
Wishing how I wish this question didn't come to me.
But now it's at your doorstep. So what do we do?
How I wish. Nigeria is a great nation. And we are endowed with a lot of human resources. And we have great leaders. We have great persons of that quality of a leader. What is quite unfortunate that the process which our leaders are selected.
You use the word selected, not elected.
Well, selected.
All right.
It's also appropriate.
They are selected.
So no more longer elect. Okay, fine. You agree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, they are selected. The method which they are selected, that has brought down those persons that actually have the qualities of leadership. And I haven't checked through the Nigerian system and the Nigerian personality. Those that the cap fit are not allowed to sit, or rather to pallot the affairs.
Why is it so?
Well, it come a time there was this word political refugee. And since the 90s, it is no longer political refugee, it's now economic refugee. So if any person tells you today that he's suffering one political oppression or the other, that is why he's running to a different country, he's lying. He's only running for economic, it's not an economic refugee. So what am I trying to say? We no longer have political leaders in our country. What we have today is economic leader. Me, myself, my children, my wife,
my children are yet unborn,
myself and I.
including my great-grandchildren yet unborn. So what we have today is economic leaders, economic leadership. These are the set of people who are not ready to take this country to the state of El Dorado. Most of these people have no vision for this country. Most of these persons, they don't know the direction which this country is going to. Most of these persons find themselves in that position, and it becomes, it's like a sky.
Family affair.
Yes, it's like a sky. It becomes so wide for them. Then the only thing they can see is failure. You cannot tell an eagle that the sky is so wide. The sky is made for the eagle to soar. Leaders are eagle. They soar so high. They determine the area and the time to open their wings. When the wind comes from one or the other direction, you see an eagle, he spreads his wings and it gets relaxed. Because it's in command, it's in control. So Nigerians, as of today, should begin to think otherwise. That the only way we can move this country forward, the only way we can have a better Nigeria is for the process of selecting our leaders to be made right.
You're using selection, no longer election. Anyway, you said it's correct by using the word selection.
I absolutely agree with the use of the word selection. And the problem that I have is, while agreeing with my colleague that what we have is now is economic leaders, I will also add we have a crop of leaders, no name mention of course, whose problem is their innate personal vanity, the desire to be seen to succeed in an economic way. And the mindset that Nigerians seem to have nowadays is, you go out as a politician, you are voted or selected, not elected, and you go out with the mind that I can't go home without having made money.
With empty hand.
With an empty hand.
Because your wife, your mother, your father will ask you questions. Your children will ask, what happened?
What happened? What did you do? Where's the money? Where's the money that you made? You can't tell us you just did all this. You were just talking up there, talking up to the sky, and you didn't bring anything home. And for me, that is so wrong. Many of these so-called leaders, they go in because they want to appropriate, or they want to get back what they spent to get them into office. Now, my problem is, I believe that Nigeria today needs to open up the political vistas. We need to open up the political vistas in such a way that as and when we identify true leaders, or as and when true leaders emerge, they should not be debarred from vying for any office simply because they don't have the money. Economics should not be used as a way to knock somebody out. That after all, if we put him or her there,
not give us something.
He or she's not going to give us something. Or after all, how much does she have? Or let me say she, yes. How much does she have to get herself there? The woman no get money. I beg. Let's go for Mr. X, or let's go for Mrs. Z. And that is the constraint. Now we need to get ourselves away from that mindset in order to take Nigeria forward. If not, Nigeria has a big problem. Part of the problem being the way we are seen outside.
Serious signals from the PD that the time is up. We'll spend more than 30 minutes here talking about this issue, but it's just because I'm time conscious. 30 seconds, sir, to wrap it up. What do you think should be the way forward? Just 30 seconds.
Yes. Leadership must not be impository. You must work at any particular point to earn the trust of the people. One cannot run away again from giving example of Nelson Mandela. But Nelson Mandela came at a time, at a very critical period in the life and history of the people of South Africa. And with time, he was able to work. He worked and worked and worked, and he earned the trust and confidence of the people. And they saw in him that leadership quality. And today, how did he end? Nelson Mandela is considered as a leader of leaders.
Leaders of leaders.
We must have people in this country who must be ready to work to earn the confidence and trust of our people. And the issue of value, the value system that my very good princess talked about, is critical. We want a leadership that will be able to come and correct that value system by being exemplary in character and in behavior, and of course in conduct.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Our time is up. You want to say something? There's no time. 10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds.
Just 10. Your time starts now.
I want to appeal to all Nigerians, all available voters in Nigeria. Know your rights. Vote for the right person and stand by what you believe in. Don't back down. If you vote for A or B, hold on to your vote. Defend your vote.
Defend your vote. 10 seconds for you, because our time is up. 10 seconds.
Until we get the process of selecting our leaders,
yes,
the ship of this country will wreck.
Wow.
Thank you.
Selection, election, selection. All the same. Which way Nigeria? Can there ever be another Nelson Mandela in Africa? How about Nigeria? You want respect? You earn it. Till same time next week, God willing, we'll do it again. But blessed, but strong, stay out of trouble for your destiny as well as been in your hands. Bye for now.